is Mason and Haskins. Mason being named the
The
starter
again. I was about to say,
I'm bummed out. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really bummed out. I was hoping Haskins was gonna be the starter in this one.
So part of me wanted that to be the case, but then part of me can understand why they go back with Mason again. If you're the Steelers and you're Mike Tomlin, even though you have the 4th preseason game, it was still the Hall of Fame game. So in terms of how we view that, the evaluation is very significant for guys like James Pierre, and obviously it held a lot of weight for Mason and Haskins, but it still is just viewed differently because it's the Hall of Fame game. So I look at it now as like, now they're treating this as the preseason, like everybody else's preseason.
So we might see Ben in the 4th game.
Because technically it wouldn't be the 4th game. From here, it would just be that 3rd one. Yeah. But I think we'll see Ben in the next game, but it's still only going to be for like a series or 2. So I don't think that.
And then Haskins may come in.
I don't think his participation is going to dictate how they want Haskins and Mason being out there in their groups. I think Ben, whatever they feel is the game for him to go out there in, that's not going to change how they're going to be flip-flopping with Haskins and Mason's. But for me, I just personally would have preferred that they say, hey, Mason, this is your game. Play this whole game or play this whole first half. And then next game, they say, okay, Haskins, this is your game. This is your first half, because I want to see them have to go in quarter for quarter. I want to see them go into the locker room and come back out. I want to see them be able to get into a rhythm. And when we're evaluating these guys, we're trying to essentially make them all be microwaves, right? Instant productivity. Whereas some guys are more of a slow cooker. Some guys like to, go out there and take a quarter to warm up into that thing and then get it going and heat it up. Right now, that doesn't really, they don't get that opportunity all the way when you're rotating the way they're rotating right now. So that's what I'm thinking, that, all right, this will be the start of that new wave of preseason where, okay, this is why Mason gets that go. But I do think the following game is where we will see Haskins get an opportunity earlier.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I was just hoping to see him with Claypool, Deontay. Yeah. Now, I guess maybe the thing you could say why they would give Mason the nod again, and it actually goes to your point of it being the Hall of Fame game where it's not, it's like the preseason game maybe, is that he didn't have the full offensive line out there, where in this one,
he should,
we're expecting that. We don't know exactly, because you were talking about how training camp has been this week. It's been kind of weird, but it seems like Zach Banner's back, Trey Turner's back. Dotson, they got him on the 2nd team. I don't know if it's going to be him or Coward that's going to be starting, but Chooks is back to left
You said
tackle.
You don't know who's going to be starting in this game?
All right, let's be real. Coward's going to start. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but yeah, he's going to start. So maybe we'll get Dotson with Haskins, though.
Yeah. It'd be what? Dotson. Was it BJ? I think BJ went in 2nd last time at center.
Because I saw JC late.
Yeah, JC ended it. So yeah, BJ went 2nd. So you probably see BJ, Kendrick.
What, BJ? He was at the right guard, is what you're saying?
No. BJ would be at center.
Okay.
Center. Yeah.
You're saying Kendrick will still play, though, at guard?
No. I said last week that was the matchup. This week I'm saying it's going to be in that second group. You'd be looking at BJ Finney at center, Dotson at guard, at left guard. I don't know who they would put at right guard right now. Dan Moore at left tackle, and then probably Joe Haig at right tackle.
Okay, got you.
Kendrick going out there with the ones. Kendrick's going to start. Kendrick's going to start day one.
Well, that's
just
what
based
Tomlin
on what
was
he's
saying.
Been showing. Yeah,
that's what Tomlin was saying too. Porter asked him, "Hey, should we look into Kendrick Green getting these reps?" And he said, "Yeah, you should look into it."
He's going to start. I mean, it's shown, like in practice, he's looked the part. We talked about the physicality. We talked about the technique and fundamentals. We did the film review of him in the actual game, taking those same qualities from practice to the game. Now, we understand that it wasn't the full Cowboys defense, and I definitely take that context with these comments on him and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, he controls what he can control. He don't care who lines up in front of him. He kicked butt. He had pluses. That's good. So we want to see if he can do it again, but everything has been pointing to him continuing on with that. So yeah, I definitely think that he's going to be, I don't think that's going to be a debate, barring injury or something crazy happening these next couple of games. I do think he'll have that locked up.
Do you think that's part of it though? What I was bringing up with Mason getting the full offensive line now, that, I mean, you even pointed that they just didn't view the Hall of Fame game as a good marker, or at least a marker enough for the QB competition.
Yeah, because typically the Hall of Fame game, I ain't gonna lie, we look at it as an inconvenience. But with the game, you kind of treat it as that bonus week, right? If it was a regular year, you would treat it as the bonus week. Now, this year, they treated it as like still regular in terms of their progression through practice, because it was still just the 4 games. But in terms of when you want to see certain people that you want in these games, now it looks like they're going to treat it like this is the new reset. And now with the status quo being 3 preseason games going forward, they're going to start operating to accommodate that. I just don't know how they're going to treat that 3rd preseason game, because typically the 4th preseason game was where you'd have all the younger players in, and the 3rd preseason game was where you'd see all the starters out there, right? That was your mock game. But what you only have in 3 games now, but yet you have an extra week. If you don't play your starters in that last preseason, that 3rd preseason game, they're essentially going to be out for like 2.5, almost 3 weeks before they have a legit game. And that has never been the case, which is why you would always sit the guys in that 4th game, because you knew we only got 10 days before our next game. You don't want your guys playing 2 games in 10 days, especially your starters, not when they don't have to. Whereas now you don't have that. So that's why I was saying to you, I think we will start seeing teams play their guys a little bit more early on in these preseason games because of that time that they have built in now.